Welcome, friends of the Greasy Shop Rag. Today we're going to take a look at a Husqvarna 450 chainsaw. The customer complaint is that it's not oiling. Well, we take a look inside the oil tank and look at that, we pull out some oil. So at least we know there's oil in the tank. A lot of times this problem is just as simple as the oil feed hole in the bar being plugged up. So the first thing we're going to do is pull that bar off of there and take a look. Now this is already kind of loose, so I don't know if they've been in here investigating that and realized that it wasn't the oil feed hole that was the problem. Let's find out. Clutch cover is clean. That tells me that they were in here either doing their maintenance after the last time they used it, or they were in here checking this oil situation. This is all clean inside here. But that hole in the bar that the oil feeds through, that was clear. Let's fire it up and see if it's pumping oil or not.
Scott, line 3, Scott, line 3.
Cripes. So what did we learn here? First, we learned that this thing needs a tune-up for sure. But it's not feeding oil. Zip, zero, zilch. So we're going to dig into the oil pump. First thing we got to do is remove the clutch. You'll note that when I spun that clutch off of there with the special tool, that I had my thumb on the stop switch. We just had this thing running. If I went to held that stop switch down, it would have fired up. Now there's a single screw that holds this chain guide plate in place. And don't underestimate the importance of this. If this plate has got a tear or a rip in it, then you're going to want to replace it because debris will build up behind it and get jammed up in the oil pump. So that there is our pump. It's just a single barrel pump. I just cleaned some of the debris out of there so we can get a better look. That hose connects the tank to the pump, and it also connects the pump to the discharge port. Now I've got oil running out of the tank onto the case, so I know that the whole everything on the inside is good. You know, oil can freely flow from the tank to the pump. Just cleaning up that hose a little bit. Let's take a look at the pump. It does not want to turn very easily at all, and it's got a big divot in it. And that divot is from the pump seizing, but the worm gear continuing to turn because it's being powered by the clutch drum. Here's a part number for our new piston and our new cylinder. Now, why did that oil pump seize up? I don't know. Maybe it was run dry at some point. Maybe some grit got in there. You could use bar oil to lubricate this. I'm using grease, it doesn't matter. Now right there is a locating pin for the pump. It's pressed into the case, but sometimes they're loose. So you want to keep an eye on that when you get into this area here. Make sure that pin didn't fall out, because you're going to need a pin to hold this pump in place. You'll see in a minute. So we push the pump cylinder into the hose flush with the end. And then there's a groove on the pinion that rides on that little rod that's pressed in there. And you saw when I turned it that the pinion moved in and out of the barrel. And that's what actually creates the pumping action. So there's a little bit of damage on this plate. It's way up high. I don't think debris is going to get in there. But there's also some damage on the bottom. And debris will get in down there. And that may be the reason that this failed to begin with. Because dirt got in there and jammed up the pump. The problem is the guy wants the saw right now. I mean, I thought I was just going to bring it back to the bench and find a plugged hole, oil feed hole in the bar. We got a little deeper into it, but it looks like he'll get the saw back and be able to use it today. So we're going to lubricate the crankshaft and the worm gear. Then we're going to lubricate the needle bearing. Get this thing put back together. Just going to clean some of this grease out of the clutch drum. Yeah, look at all that schmutz. This thing got hot a couple of times. You can tell because it's got a blue tint to it. Notice I got the kill switch pushed down again. So that's all I got for you in the Husqvarna 450 chainsaw oil pump replacement. Thanks for watching. Later.